All right. So we can go ahead and get started. It's going to take us a few minutes to get going anyway, so we can let people in as if there are more that are coming. So this is our 6th Tuesday at 2. Thank you everyone for participating. I hope you get a lot out of it. If you're not baking, that's okay, because Nancy's got some exercises for you anyway, so it'll work out well. If you want to leave your video on, you're welcome to do that. Just realize that when you do, it's like an implied consent so that we can use your video on our website. So leave it on if you want, or turn it off if you don't want us to see your picture or have it posted on our website. You can do the same with your microphone. In fact, I might suggest that you put your microphone on mute unless you're Dave or Nancy or me. Because Nancy's going to be talking and Dave hopefully will be doing some talking, and we don't want to talk over our teachers. So we're going to keep that muted. Now, if you have a question though, you can raise your hand, and I'll be watching the videos. You can always raise your hand, and then you can unmute yourself when I call on you, and you can ask the question of Nancy. You also can write it in the chat box. So if you've done this with us before, you can find the chat box usually at the bottom of your screen. If you scroll over it, you can kind of see it show up, and you can ask a question. It's probably best to put it in speaker mode. If you can put your video in speaker mode, that way you can see Nancy sort of in the big screen in the middle, and you can see what she's doing with the kneading of the bread and the making of all that good stuff. I want to share my screen real quick. I do this at the beginning of each show. I want to show you our Thursdays at 7. So here's our lineup for our Thursdays at 7. So this coming Thursday, we have Basics of Gene Therapy with BioMarin. And then next Thursday, the 28th, we have another virtual campfire. By the way, our virtual campfire has been watched more than 135 times since the last one. So apparently that's one of the favorites. And then Pat Torrey's going to do something for us. Corey Pierce is going to do some yoga with us for Octapharma. Then we have, again, the HTC is going to do something on June 18th, but we don't know exactly yet. And then another virtual campfire. So we have some really fun ones coming up. And then our Tuesdays at 2, we're creating more. But next week we have our outdoor games. And then on June 2nd, we're going to do a dance party. So there's more fun coming up. And then the last thing I want to share with you before I turn this over to our chef is contact information. Just in case you don't have it and you want to get it for later, take a picture of it so you have it for in the future, or go back and watch the video. And I promise this week it's recording. I checked to make sure, so we're good to go. Okay, so it's time to turn it over to our favorite physical therapists, Nancy and Dave. I think Nancy's going to do most of it.
Yeah, hi you guys. All right, so my apologies to Rachel Ray and Guy Riviere, whatever his name is, and maybe Gordon Ramsay, because this is not gonna be high end. This is fun in your kitchen. Okay, so secondly, I'd like to introduce our guest person here, all the way from France. They came in especially for this one. He is actually the cousin of the Swedish chef, and he's going to be joining me. All right. He's a little jet lagged, so he's not going to be saying much right today, but he's going to come for a few more sessions in the future, and he'll be more animated and talking to you in French. But today he's just going to be an observer, and he's going to watch the bread rise while we do all the work to make sure that that's going okay. So, good friend, my friend chef. We're shaking hands. All right, so first thing you want to do is turn your oven on, because it's really frustrating when you go to put the cookies in and the oven isn't on. So head to your oven and put it for 350. That'll make it ready for us when we're going to put the cookies in. Okay, so we're going to start off making the bread, because the bread's got to rise. And what I'm doing is I'm making a pizza dough. So this is so you can make calzones, you can make breadsticks, you can make focaccia, you can do a lot of stuff out of this. You can make little munchy buns or anything you want. So it's just a basic bread recipe. If you have one other than this that you like, go for it. But this is my go-to pizza dough recipe. So you want to pick a bowl, nice and big, because you're going to do some moving around in there. And we're going to take 4 cups of flour. So get your measuring cup. I have my flour over here. I got a regular Costco size. I do a lot of bacon. All right, so get your cup. You fluff the flour a little bit. I don't sift it. You're just gonna measure out 4 cups of flour. That's 1, 2, 3. Oh, I already forgot something. All right, measure 4. All right, your 4 cups of flour there. We got to get our yeast going because that needs a few minutes to rise. So if everybody's got yeast, I got a lot of yeast. I got it before COVID started. And we're going to take about 2 teaspoons of yeast and put it in a small cup. So there's 1, 2. All right, we're going to add a little sugar because yeast needs a little bit of food to eat. So like about a ½ teaspoon of sugar. Again, I'm not super worried about it as exactly a ½ teaspoon, but you want a little bit in there. You mix it up. Now you got to go turn your water on. You want hot water, not like boiling hot water, but warm hot water. So I'm going to come over to my sink, turn my hot water on. It's getting hot. A little hotter than that. There
So
you go.
Claire,
Okay.
I've had people ask if you could slow down just a little bit.
Say that 1 second. What?
They need you to slow down just a little bit. They're catching
Oh,
up.
slow down.
Just a little bit. It's
Just
okay.
a little bit. Okay. I'm a little bit of, Dave's the slow one. He walks slow, he talks slow. There's a lot of meaning, but for me, I'm a little bit fast. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
2 teaspoons.
But I will
2
live
teaspoons
forever.
of,
Oh, did you hear that, Nancy? He said, I'll
takes
live
forever.
forever.
I know, I'm using up my heartbeats faster than he is. So we got 2 teaspoons of yeast in here, about a ½ teaspoon of sugar, and a cup of water, warm water. So we're just letting that stuff kind of mix up, and we're gonna let that hang out there and start to bubble up. So that's bubbling up.
Okay, everybody
We're-
caught up? Thumbs up. Oh, Maddie says, wait a minute. Looks like Kevin's
right.
working.
All right, we're gonna give that a couple minutes. Now, when I look around my place, I'm gonna dry. Oh, did I say wash your hands? Go wash your hands for those who haven't washed their hands yet. All right, because we're gonna get our hands into this, and we want clean hands. And if you have a apron, I recommend that too. Okay, salt. Now, you need about a teaspoon of salt. I use kosher salt, no big deal, whatever salt you have. This is just what I have in my house. So we're gonna put the teaspoon of salt, blow that out. All right, about a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna stick it in the bread, the flour. Mix that up. And put my yeast away because I'm still waiting for my yeast to kick in a little bit. You can wait a little longer. It's looking like it's going. Usually you give it about 5 minutes. All right, while that's giving another minute more, go find your favorite spoon. This was my mom's spoon. When she downsized, I took it. So she's living in an assisted living. She's doing fine. She's 95, healthy. She's doing great. But I took all of those things that had really great memories for me when I was a kid. And one of them was this bowl, because it's huge. So this has awesome memories of family gatherings. I took this wooden spoon, which I love, because it makes me think of all the things that she stirred with it. So I would say to your family, and those moms and dads, all that stuff that you do with your kids in the kitchen, all those memories you make when you spend time with them, feed your soul. So all this stuff, some of the stuff was from my mom, and I love having it in my kitchen. All right, so I think that yeast is pretty close to bubbly. I can't tilt it because it would go on the table, but it should just be a little bubbly. If it starts to bubble up a whole lot, that's still good. all really good. All right.
How much
So-
sugar?
How much
How
sugar?
much
What's that?
sugar?
Just about a half a teaspoon.
Okay, thanks.
Half a teaspoon of sugar. All it's doing is feeding the yeast to get it bubbling. All right, next, what you're gonna add to the yeast is a tablespoon of oil. You can use olive oil, avocado oil. I've got a vegetable oil, just happened to be what was available at the store. I couldn't get anything else, so canola oil, whatever you want. So take a tablespoon of oil, and you're gonna pop that into the yeast mixture. And I like to use my finger a lot, so I got the rest of that out of there. Now, I take this lovely concoction of yeast, and I am going to put it right in the middle of my flour. I'm going to use a spatula to get every little bit in there. All right, next, you're gonna take your measuring cup again and you're gonna add about 3/4 of a cup warm water to it. So I'm back at my sink.
All right, so she asked, did anything add to the flour before the yeast? The
Add
salt.
1 teaspoon of salt to my flour. And then I have my yeast, my 1 cup water, and a tablespoon of oil. And then I have about 3/4 cup water in this here too, because all recipes are a little bit different. Some flour is bleached, some flour is heavier. So you're gonna add a little bit of water this to make a soft dough. So now this is where the upper body workout comes in. You're gonna start mixing that in there. And it's, for me, mine is really dry, so I'm gonna add some more water to it. I'm gonna mix that up, and I'm trying to get it all mixed in. So mine's looking like that, lots of flour, and it isn't mixed in yet. So I'm gonna add some more water. And I'm trying to get this all to be one big dough. If you add too much water, don't worry about it. You're just gonna add more flour. If there's not enough water to it, add a little bit more. So now we're starting to get a dough. And now what I'm gonna do is enough that it's kind of sticking together. So I don't need the rest of this water. I got a little pile of flour here that I'm gonna sprinkle on my surface. And I-
Okay, let's do a thumbs up if everybody's where Nancy is. Nope, Kevin's not there. Jamie's not there. Rena, are you there yet? Oh, the Smiths aren't there. Nope, Rena's not there. So hold on 1 second, Nancy. They're trying to catch up to you.
All right, I'm just scraping all the dough that's in my bowl. And I'm
Doxy, how you doing? Oh, you're getting there, Doxy. I can see yours. It seems like Nancy's a pro at this, so everyone else is gonna catch up.
So if your hands are sticky, I'm also gonna tell you this, when you get it out, you're just gonna rub some flour to get the dough pieces off. But I'll tell you, if you have clean hands, it's gonna be easy to knead this bread. If your hands are really like, got a lot of flour on it, you take a little flour on your hands and it'll get all the soft dough off, and then your hands will be cleaner when you start to knead. All right, give me a thumbs up when people are close.
All right, are we ready? I see Doxy working away. Harp, how about you? Harp's ready. Kevin?
All right.
Not yet.
So, now what I'm gonna, not yet. All right, so, I was gonna say, I can get the chocolate chip cookie people ready, but.
Nope. Hang on 1 second. Okay, I think we're getting close. I see Doxy's getting close. Jamie looks like she's getting ready.
I'm so ready to beat up my little thing of bread.
How about the Smiths? Are we close to kneading? No, Gavin says thumbs down.
All right, while you guys do that, I'm gonna show you, because I made some dough yesterday.
Oh,
And I
good
made-
job.
Everybody's ready?
Looks like people are getting close. Yep.
Okay. I made some yesterday. I don't know if you can see, but I made focaccia.
Oh, yum.
Got tomatoes and basil and cheese and garlic butter on it. This one's got roasted, fire roasted tomatoes on it. And these are like giant breadsticks. So make anything you want out of this recipe.
Yummy. I'm a big bread fan.
Carbs, love it.
Okay, so question is, will it work with gluten-free flour?
Ooh, I would love to say yes. I've made gluten-free pizza dough, but I think I did it out of amaranth flour or rice flour. And I've done pizza doughs out of cauliflower. So you can get, you can buy cauliflower crusts, or you can cook cauliflower and weed out, get all the water out and dry it out, and you can make a cauliflower crust. I don't know the exact proportions for a gluten-free crust, but we can look it up and post it. I've done it. I just can't remember what my proportions were.
Doxy, that looks good. Is yours gluten-free? Hers is gluten-free. Hers is looking good.
Awesome. I think the gluten-free doesn't rise as much. So if you're using something like almond flour, it's going to be more that it spreads out as opposed to has a rise. But I know that
she's using gluten-free all-purpose flour.
Oh, perfect. All right. So you should be fine. Great.
All right. So Rena's ready. Looks like I'm getting a bunch of thumbs up. Okay. So
okay.
What do you need?
So now I'm going to put the timer on because we're going to need this bread for 10 minutes. All right. So timer is on for 10. Now, so what you're going to do, I don't know if you can see my dough, but the idea is you fold it over and you push it out. You fold it over and you push it out. And so then I spin it, fold it over and push it out. Now you need a little bit of extra flour because if it gets super sticky, you're gonna wanna put some flour on to let it not stick to the board. But as it gets more soft and incorporated, it is gonna stick less to you and stick less. Now this is where the arm workout, great for triceps, I'm telling you. And if you get into it, it's not just arms, really feel your legs and your body on the floor, tighten up your abs, and get your body into it. So it doesn't have to be a lot of elbow. It can just be your body's moving into it. So you don't have to have the elbow motion. If it's just arms, you're gonna get tired fast if you get your whole body into it. And I would even suggest go up on your toes, because then you get a little bit of a calf workout at the same time. Up on your toes and down, up on your toes and down. So I'm getting a calf and an arm workout.
So Nancy, there's been a message in the chat. It says another person's attempting used gluten-free flour, which says it can be used 1-to-1.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
So hopefully that's working for a couple people here.
So I have a nice surface, and literally I'm turning it, I'm folding it and pushing it out. I'm turning it. Now you can do it with one hand. If you've got one hand that's stronger and maybe the other one hurts, you can switch hands if one gets tired. And I'm just using one hand to fold it over and one hand to push it out. And I can do it with both. I use both hands to fold over. I use both hands to push out.
I see Jamie working hard. I see Rena working hard. Woo, good job.
So we're going to keep at it. Again, if the elbows can't do the motion, then let your body do it. Come up on your toes, get your heels off the ground and push down. But this is also a core workout because you are engaging your stomach muscles to give yourself a really good base on which to work out on. So feel your legs on the ground, brace yourself, and use that to push that dough out. This is a huge stress reliever. It's like you had a bad day and you want to beat something up, make some bread. And then it's really rewarding because then you can eat as much as you want afterwards. So it's easy enough to do this in a bread machine, in a mixer, but there's something about getting your hands in that dough that just feels really good. So I have a pretty good proportion of flour and water. It's not sticking to my hands. My hands are staying clean and it's coming off my board pretty well. But every once in a while, I'll probably put a little bit of flour down because I think mine is a little bit too wet. But then we're gonna keep going. All right, heads up. We've been at it for 4 minutes, a little bit more. And I go fast, that's just my style. You don't have to go that fast. It can be a slow fold, push, full push, full push. You're really just working the gluten. There's some science in this. Like I said, I didn't go to school for cooking, but the science is that you need to knead the bread to get the gluten to do something so that the bread rises really well.
Sounds important to me.
Now,
Right,
it is
how we
important.
doing? Thumbs up, everybody's doing well with their kneading? Okay.
This is a little sticky, so
Jamie,
I
you
am
doing
gonna,
well? Jamie's got hers. Harp, are you even making anything, Harp? Or are you just watching?
Harp, in a kitchen like that, you should be cooking.
You should be cooking, Harp. All right, Smiths are doing okay. Oh, look at Aaron's looking good. Rena, how you doing? Are you doing okay?
It'll start getting soft. You feel the difference between it being just mixed flour and water and when it's turning that corner
Oh,
into
Kevin,
bread.
look at that. Look at Kevin Finkel's. His is looking good.
Sweet. And
Awesome.
I'm wondering
And
if
Doc's
anybody has any other adaptions or if they have a part of their body that hurts or they can't do it. I'm wondering if there's other ways to do it. Because like I said, you can go slow, but you're really folding that dough in half and getting it all out. Switch hands if something gets tired.
So Harp, you don't look like you're kneading very hard. Are you even doing bread, Harp? In the kitchen, you should be doing bread.
This is where your mind can start drifting. You can get into a zone, you zen out. And I just think it's fun when you feel that dough, it just feels really cool. As a kid, my mom made bread all the time. I'd come home from school, there'd be fresh bread out of the oven. Or I'd come home from school and the dough would be risen. And my mom would break off pieces of that risen dough and put it in oil and fry it up for like elephant ears. We used to just call it fried dough. And then we dip it in syrup or cinnamon sugar. So you don't have to go to the zoo to get an elephant ear. You can do that with it. But I also, as a kid, my mom had this huge barrel of flour because she did so much baking. And I would stick my hands in it and it felt so good. It was like this soft, silky feeling. And I just loved that sensation. And I thought, God, that felt so good. And I just play in the dough. I'd make tunnels. Couldn't play in a lot because you get a flour thing. But it was just the sensation of flour that I loved. And I found it so calming. And believe it or not, I use some of those same concepts in my physical therapy now. Because your hands are an incredible source of information. You have all these amazing nerves in your hands and your fingertips, so much so that you can tell the difference between, like if you picked up a nickel or a dime, you could tell the difference between those because a nickel is smooth, a dime has ridges. So your hands are this amazing center of information. And it's why we like hug each other, hold hands, because that information feels good. So, I would feel the sensations. Is it sticky right now? Is it firm? Is it soft? Is it hard? How do your hands feel? It's almost like talking to a friend. Olive hands. All right, a little bit more flour. We are 2 minutes left. Keep at it. And I think I saw Kevin, exactly. If your dough is too stiff, add a little water. If it's too wet, add a little flour. It is science, but it's not rocket science. So you can mix or match and do what feels good. Oh, someone's calling me. Hey, Dave, it's Jen Newman. We should send her a link to Tuesdays at 2. Jen Newman was an old resident. She's now at a hemophilia center in North Carolina.
Wow.
I'll call and let her know.
Dave convincing people who never knew anything about hemophilia to realize that it is an incredible, wonderful community. She finally gave up. She's not ringing anymore. All right, we got 1 minute, guys. Don't give up.
Almost there. Oh, I can see Mike Smith in the Smith house. He made a small appearance.
The more you need this, the happy you will be with the outcome. And I hate to tell you this, but I do have a recipe for no-knead bread. So if you make bread without kneading it at all, there's some good recipes for that too. But you just need time. That has to sit for like 18 hours. This won't take that long.
Well, we're having pizza for dinner because of pizza dough today. I got my kids working. Got to make everybody work.
So this will make 4 small pizzas or 2 pretty good sized ones. So our family tends to do personal pizzas. We make them small so that people can add what they want because no one likes the same stuff on theirs. I haven't had to add any more flour, so I'm doing pretty good on mine. 13 seconds, people.
So I have somebody's saying that their daughter is enjoying rolling it rather than kneading it. So whatever it takes, right?
Whatever it takes. All right, I don't know if you heard that buzzer, but it's done. All right, I'm gonna turn my buzzer. All right, now, you got a nice, let me lift this up so you can see my face, although this is kind of like a baby's bottom. All right, now what you're gonna do is go back to that same bowl you had before. You're gonna plop in a little bit of oil. Kind of a lot, but it's all right. You take your bread. What you're gonna do is plop it in there and move that oil all over the place because I don't want it to stick. So now, and then I'm gonna flip that dough over so that the sides are oiled and the dough's a little bit oiled. Because now I want something. You got saran wrap. You want something that you can lay on top, parchment paper. You're just gonna put it on top of that dough because you don't want the dough to dry out. So I got like just a bit of saran, this is like a plastic wrap on top of my dough. And now we're gonna let it rise. So we'll come back to that. So for your pizza people, we're coming back before the end of the show to tell you how that's gonna look, okay? But next, we're gonna make some cookies. All right, so I'm gonna wash my hands because I got a bunch of oil on it and I'm gonna clean my hands again.
All right, time for everybody to get their hands clean and ready to go. I'm excited for pizza for dinner. Oh,
So this is where Smith's gonna come in, Andy. He's gonna watch my dough rise.
Oh, yay!
He's doing, all right. I don't know if you can see him.
He's getting over the jet lag.
He's getting over the jet lag. He's not talking, but he is watching the dough rise. And that's key. All right. You guys ready for cookies? All right, I call it super cookies because you can do anything with this recipe. It's a little different than the Nestle Toll House one, and there's 1,000 cookie recipes out there. So if you've got a favorite, go for it. The difference today is that we're gonna do it by hand. If you have a mixer and you wanna do it by mixing, go for it. But it's a workout and a half to do it by hand, so this is kind of fun. I'm gonna wash my spoon here because it's got a bunch of flour.
All right, everyone have the ingredients ready for the cookies? Okay, is that a thumbs up?
Everybody's ready?
Smith's
All right, so hopefully
Doxy's ready.
this will not work if you haven't left your dough, if you haven't put your butter out for a while because the butter needs to be a little bit soft to do it by hand. Typically, I will throw it in the mixer because I never take my butter out to soften it. I always just take it straight from the refrigerator. So that's where a mixer is nice. But since I'm going to show you how to do it by hand, I took my butter out so it's a little bit softer.
They can
So we're gonna
also,
use
they can put it in the microwave on defrost for a few seconds and that'll soften it up.
Yeah.
Just don't put out.
Yeah, I recommend if you do that, you're going to want to refrigerate your cookie dough for a little while because if the butter is super soft, it just kind of flattens out in the oven. So if you're going to do that, that's not a problem. I would not totally melt it, just soften it up a bit.
Yeah, just,
and I would refrigerate your dough for a little while because that'll make it shape the cookies a little bit better. All right, now this, is everybody ready? Now I'm going to use a cup of butter. So it's, look at how super easy that is to just cut because it's soft. All right, so I'm putting a cup of butter in my big plant. I'll have you know, this huge bowl is my mother-in-law's. She gave it to me. She is from Finland, and she makes a finished bread called pulla. She won't show me the recipe.
Oh.
She gave me the pot. She makes a huge one. She gave me the recipe, but like any good Finn woman, she changes it, and she doesn't tell me what she changes. So the recipe says cardamom, and I think she must put in like a half a cup, but the recipe says a teaspoon. So it drives me nuts. It never comes out the same way because she won't share what she adjusts to the recipe. But I love the bowl. The bowl is huge. And so lots of good memories, but now it's just kind of, I wish I had the pulla recipe because it's really good.
all right, everyone got their soft butter in their bowl? Thumbs
All right,
up.
everybody's got their soft butter. Grab your sugar. You need white and brown. All right. 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. So I'm just using the lid to measure that off. That's 1. You're welcome to come in. You're just going to be on video. My son's here. He's the one that eats all the cookies.
Gotta have the eaters also.
All right, so I got 3/4 of a cup. This is a quarter measuring cup. Next, let me grab my brown sugar. And you want to pack this. So I just put my measuring cup in there and squish it against the side of the plastic, and that's 1/4 cup. There's 2. There's 3. All right, all in. If I was Rachel Ray, someone would come sweeping in here and clean up my kitchen as I did all this work.
So that's what I was told at our house. The hazard is the cleanup afterwards. That's what I was told.
Just
That's
pulling a bulldozer. Oops, so I don't knock over my oil. All right, so I have a cup of butter and 3/4 brown sugar and white sugar. Start mixing. All right, this is the upper body work.
Look at Doxy and her daughter.
Is she using a blender?
I'm still tired already.
Squash that butter. It can be done, guys. This is a workout. Again, get your body braced against the floor. Don't use just your arms. Use your whole core to get into this. It'll make it less exhausting. The power comes from your core. The more you get your hips braced and your stomach muscles engaged, the less work your arms are going to do. I'm
So when
telling
I
you,
was
it's
a
not.
kid, my mom had us do it with our hands.
Yeah, you can do that too.
You can just get in there, it helps melt the butter. If you just use your hands to just sort of squeeze it and blend it. But then, of course, you have to wash them very carefully before you start.
All right, so we have to see who's making the most progress and who gets their butter blended first. When your arm gets tired, switch to the other arm.
The trick.
I'm very strongly right-handed, I realize. It's hard for me to use my left, so if
Oh, look at Doxy's ready. She's looking good. Jamie, how's it going? You doing okay? No. Jamie's like, no. All right, Rena's good. All right. Harp, how you doing? Are you even mixing anything, Harp?
Mine was on mute. Sorry.
But the kitchen you have back there, you should mix really big, beautiful dishes.
I know. I didn't get gluten-free flour. That's what's holding me up. Sorry. I'm taking notes though.
Okay. All right. And
And I
Smith,
had it on
Getting there.
Smith, are we doing well?
I'm getting there.
Should
And
we
then-
put in flour yet?
Say that again.
Should we put
Who
in
wants
flour yet?
store-bought cookies?
So he asked, will they put flour in yet? Not yet, right?
No, no flour. We're just getting the butter and the sugar mixed in.
Okay.
And it's
Yep.
me sweat.
That's the hard upper body workout. I can see Jamie. Jamie's
Use a
working hard.
smaller bucket.
Jamie's working hard with this, the boats in the background.
My butter is too hard. So,
It's too hard.
yeah.
That's when you have to use your hands.
See?
Yeah, I was gonna say your hands will soften it up.
Oh yeah, it's a lot, Jamie. That's
I gotta
okay.
use my left. My right arm's getting tired.
Just think it's gonna be so yummy when you get done, though.
I'm even
getting
sweating.
close. I don't know about anybody else.
Jamie, she's even sweating doing it. She says.
I'm totally sweating. This is like an aerobic workout. Oh, yes. I am fast approaching done. I don't know how, oops. What's that? I don't know. Something got in there.
Something in the sugar. Oh, Kevin, are you using your hands? Is that helping? Oh yeah, look at Kevin. He's got his hands in there. Oh yeah, there you go, Kev.
I know. Isn't that an awesome sensation? Feels different than the bread. All
Yeah.
right. I'm going to take a peek at mine to prove that it can be done.
Oh.
So, all my sugar.
Kevin's is looking like that too. Yeah, Kevin's is looking like that. I saw that. Oh, look at Doxy's. Hers looks great too.
Awesome. All right. Let me know when you're done. I got it all blended in. I got to shake out my arms.
Rena, is yours going well? Yep, Rena's good too. Awesome.
All right. You ready for the next thing? We got to put an egg in here. We need our egg and our vanilla. So,
Get your egg and your vanilla.
all right. The thing about the Nestle Toll House recipe calls for 2 eggs. This one only calls for 1 egg. And I think that makes it a little bit more chewy and fudgy-like as opposed to cake and fluffy-like. So you can always go back to 2 eggs, but more eggs makes it more fluffy like a cake. 1, decreasing your eggs makes it a little bit more chewy and fudgy. All right, so I'm gonna attempt this with 1 hand. You ready? This is, I did it.
She is the French chef.
Oh, wait a second,
Right on.
I got a shell in there. I should say, I just got the egg off my hand. He's doing okay.
He looks good. Very interested. The bread's doing well.
I think he's actually probably appalled. As the French chef, he could do this much better. He'd be adding like nothing but, I don't know. Oh, so I'm mixing my egg right now if you didn't realize that. You gotta get the egg in there. Oh, and I forgot, you need vanilla. I have to say, I use imitation vanilla. Real vanilla is awesome, but it's super expensive. All right, so this recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla. If you only feel like adding 1, just add 1, but I add 2. I don't know what it does. Gives it a little extra something. All right, so now we're mixing all those things in, the egg, the vanilla. I'm playing chase with my egg because it doesn't want to get mixed in.
How much vanilla? 2 teaspoons, right?
2 teaspoons. If you don't have all the vanilla, just put 1.
So Kevin has some organic.
Oh, really?
Look,
That's
see
good.
it? Oh, pure bourbon vanilla extract. Trader Joe's.
Oh, I'm coming to your house to eat those cookies. Yeah, I have not upped my vanilla. I used imitation because we make so many of these. But yeah, that's good stuff. People will say there's a huge difference. Like I use butter. I'm not a big margarine fan because
Yeah.
it usually comes out more liquidy. I tend to cook, like if I'm going to eat it, I'm going to go for butter. Vanilla, I would say the same. It's just a matter of what you have on hand. All right, so that's looking mixed. All right, I got my butter and my sugar and my egg and my vanilla all mixed in. Now, we need to go back to our flour. Is everybody up and ready?
All right, thumbs up.
2
We're all
1/4.
caught up.
All right, 2. Woo, there was water in there. See, I'm more like Julia Child.
All right,
So-
Smith, so you ready to add flour or do you need a little time left? You're good. Okay, Rena, you good? Rena's
All
next.
right, so now,
Doxy's good. What about Kevin? Kevin's good. Jamie?
all right,
Jamie's not good. She cracks me up.
she ready?
No, she's the only one not ready, but we can go ahead.
All right, 2 1/4 cups flour. Gonna fluff that flour a little bit. 1. 2. 2. All right. 3/4 teaspoon salt. I'm back to my kosher. I'm just taking a regular teaspoon and I'm filling it up close to a single. It's a little bit more. That's fine. There you go. Sprinkle that on top. And then I need to go to baking soda. I put my baking soda in a little mason jar because I hate that little box. I can never get the baking soda out of it and measured. So I've just got mine in a mason jar. So 1 teaspoon baking soda.
All right,
Sprinkle
1
up.
teaspoon baking soda.
How
Now-
much salt?
How much?
1 teaspoon. All right, start mixing.
So I can hear the Smiths above me. I'm in the basement and I can hear the family above me. There's a lot of excitement going on. And I think maybe there are too many cooks in the kitchen at the Smith household. Just a lot of people around. So 2 were making pizza dough and 2 are making cookie mixture. So the pizza dough people are done and they're helping the cookie people now. So we're gonna have pizza
All right, you're gonna mix
and cookies for dessert.
all that in. Your flour should be totally incorporated. Still sweating again. I'm pretty good. I don't have flour all over me. Usually it's all over me by this point in time. All right. All right, I got all my flour in. Now,
All right, how's everybody else doing? You still need, I can see Kevin has a little flour he's got to mix in.
I love Kevin using his hands. That's fantastic.
I know,
Love-
me too.
Love a chef that doesn't mind getting their hands in.
Doxy's looking good.
All right, grab your chocolate chips. 1 for me, 1 for the bowl. 1 for the bowl.
Nancy,
All right.
1 for me.
So, a few more, a few less. I've done it with
Right,
less.
so-
I've done it.
Can we go back for 1 second? So flour
Yeah.
and salt and baking soda. Baking soda was 1, but
1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon of baking soda, right?
Baking soda, not powder soda.
Not, yeah. Okay.
Think of
1
this as a
teaspoon baking
cocktail.
soda. Yeah, baking soda.
Okay. I am putting chocolate chips in now. You with
Okay.
me? Okay. All right, we're not done mixing. Whose arms are getting tired?
So if you decide to use raisins, can you, or white chocolate
Well,
chips?
here's, absolutely. This is the point where you can start mixing in whatever you want, because I'll tell you, it's done at this point. Now, here's the deal. This recipe, just as it is, will make a flat cookie. It'll sort of spread out a whole lot. I like that if I'm making ice cream sandwiches. But if I want a cookie that I can grab and go, I'm going to start adding some stuff to it. So you'll bake. And what I'm going to do at this point is, this is probably like the purist, the person who only wants a chocolate chip and nothing else in it. So what I'm going to do is take out half of it for the kids in my family who don't like any additives. All right. So that's gonna go in there. What I'm gonna do for this half is add all the things that I like to put in my chocolate chip cookies. So first of all, I like nuts. So I'm gonna grab some nuts. This is one of my favorite cutting boards in my kitchen. It's got a little well to it, and it's got this little Uhu knife, I don't know what you call it, so it chops nuts really well. So if I was making the full batch with everything, I would use a cup of nuts, but since I'm only doing half, I'm gonna get like a half a cup of nuts. So I'm gonna take my little knife. I don't know if you can see this little baby, but I love it. You take this thing and you just chop up the nuts. I don't have to cut my fingers. This hand's doing its own fun thing. This will just let me chop up the nuts. I'm a little chunky, so you don't have to do them fine. But then this little thing keeps all the nuts in there, and I got that, and I just dump it all in. All right, so the other thing I'm gonna add is I put oatmeal in because it makes the cookies go a little longer and it will not make them go out so flat. Hang on, so you're gonna see my face again. All right, so I'm gonna get, rolled oats. I only like rolled oats, I don't like quick oats. I don't know why, but I do. So I'm gonna put in, again, if I was doing the whole batch of cookies, I would put a cup of oats in, but since I'm only doing half this way, I'm gonna put a half a cup. So I'm gonna put those in. I am also, because I had it in my refrigerator the other day, you can put cranberries. These are cherries, dried cherries that they're left over from another recipe. So they're dried cherries. I put balsamic vinegar on them and put them in the microwave so they get kind of fluffed and pumped, and they're tart and so good. So I had extra, so I left those. So I'm gonna put tart cherries. So again, if you wanted to do the cherries with the balsamic, it's a cup of dried cherries, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and you put it in the microwave for about a minute, and that balsamic gets absorbed into the cherries, and it's delightful. So those are going in because I want something a little different in this one. If you got M&Ms, put in M&Ms. If you got chunks of chocolate, put in chunks of chocolate. But the thing is, the base recipe, you can be done at any time. If you just like a flat cookie that sort of spreads out a lot, then don't add any of the extras. I like a cookie that's a little bit more formed, and I'm putting all these other things in. Oh man, and this is where you start eating the cookie dough, because it's really good.
Eat the cookie dough. Okay,
It is.
Jamie, are you caught up? Yes, awesome. Okay, we have some real chefs in the house.
All right, now if you like a cookie that is not so spread out and doesn't have all this extra stuff, I would add a little bit more flour to this, because this, you'll see when it comes out, if you do just the chocolate chips, that cookie's gonna spread out pretty wide. So you could refrigerate it at this point and let it get a little harder, then it won't spread out so much, because you've been beating it up and the butter's really soft. Or you add a little flour to it, it gets a little bit more thick and it won't spread out so flat. But I'll show you what those look like. All right, so I've got all my yummy add-ins in this one. So I got cherries and oatmeal and chocolate chips. And get some of this stuff out of the way, because now we're gonna put it on the tray, and my oven's hot, which is great, because we're getting ready for our 10 minutes of workout when the cookies are in the oven. So grab a cookie tray. Here's the other thing that I've come to love, parchment paper.
So what temperature is the oven supposed to be on?
Oven's at 350.
Okay.
And again, oven's a little bit different, so 350 works for me. Sometimes I go up to 375 because my oven cools down pretty fast. You just have to watch the timing on your cookies, whether if you do it at 350 or if you do it at 375, but the recipe's for 350. This is parchment paper, and I get it in so that it's just in sheets, and I lay it on top of my tray. That way my tray stays really clean. And parchment paper, believe it or not, can be reused. I made cookies on this last night, and I can use it again today. So it's just not one and done. in the world of recycling, it's really nice to have something you can reuse. You can actually wash parchment paper, let it dry, and then you can use it again. So
Did
a
not
couple
know that.
sheets
That's
go a
cool.
long way. All right, so now, again, if you're a hands-on person, you want to stick your hands in the dough, go for it. Or what you want to do is use a couple spoons and make yourself some cookies. You can make them as small as you want, knowing that if you go smaller, they're not going to take as long to cook. If you make them bigger, they're going to take a little longer to cook. So I'm going to do 6 of each, so that when they come out, you'll be able to see what this looks like without the add-ins and what it looks like with the add-ins. I'm going to do 6 of my purest, which has got no add-ins. And then I'm going to do 6 with the good stuff in it.
I can't wait to try the ones that are being cooked above me.
All right, so same thing, whether you just use your hands and get in there and bunch off some, if you use.
See Rena making her little cookie dough cookies.
So the other thing I will say is this dough, like most cookie doughs, freeze really well. So for a while there, I used to only make 1 tray at a time, like once a day when the kids were in school, because I knew they'd come home and eat like 12 of them, which, moderation, cookies are great. You just don't want to eat 12 of them. So I would do like a batch at a time. And so here's my 12. This side is the cookies without the add-ins, and this side is the cookies with the add-ins. Then, let me put a little bit more on it. All right, I'm gonna pop it in the oven. I wanna do this together because this is the other part of this upper extremity workout. I wish he was joining us. He'll join us next time. You got 10 minutes where these, that was to warn me that it's 5 minutes of 2.
That's okay.
We're gonna put the cookies in the oven. Are you guys okay? Because there's still some stuff we can keep doing. We're gonna cook the cookies for 10 minutes, but I want you to also find your weights or I need you to grab a hand towel because we're gonna do some isometrics while our cookies are in the oven.
Or you could do cans of beans or.
I know, I'm gonna go grab, I'll show you what I'm gonna grab. I've got my peanut butter jar, which is 2 ounces.
Also,
And I got my tomato basil jar, which is 1 pound, 9 ounces. So that's what I'm gonna work my arms out with. How we doing?
Yeah, and Gavin thought it was the same.
Suppose I could use this time to clean
Are we
up.
ready? Oh, best oven placement for the tray, top or middle?
Yeah, I never go above the middle. I tend to only use 1 tray at a time because I hate opening up the oven and switching them out. The way my oven is, I tend to just do 1 tray at a time.
Good question.
I can judge. Otherwise, I have to switch the levels, and that just does annoy me. I want 10 minutes free of doing that. So I always miss the 5-minute mark. So I just do 1 tray at a time. And sometimes I put them in there so I get as many cookies as I can. But if you're a 2-tray person, it's like the lower and the upper third. You want to go that way. I like the middle. I like the middle one on my oven. All right, this can go away. This can go away. The next thing we're doing, we still got to get to the pizza dough. I'm going to tell you about that after our cookies. Remember, if you did the full recipe, the add-in was a cup of oatmeal, rolled oats. I'm not a big fan of putting the minute oats, the ones that are really quick cooking. I like the rolled oats. They hold their shape and I just like them better. But that's me. If you got quick, that's fine.
It was like a cup of each of those things or half a cup of each of the things like.
Oh, yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did it for a full batch. I would put a cup of walnuts or pecans in and a cup of rolled oats. That's how, so because I cut in half, I cut each of those in half. And I just had a few cherries. I didn't have a ton. Those are not something you have to overload the cookie with either. And I think the last time I threw M&Ms in because I thought it'd be a fun color. You can pretty much do anything. And typically what I would do at this point too is while I'm letting my dough cook, I'm gonna throw my other dough in the refrigerator. Because depending on the temperature, all you're doing is that butter is getting softer, and I'm not a big, I don't like my cookies to spread out a whole lot. And so again, if you don't mind that, go for it. But I'm gonna put all of my extra dough that I haven't cooked yet in the refrigerator until I'm ready to roll it and put it on the cookie tray. At this point too, I've got it in a Tupperware. I can stick a lid on this and freeze it if I want to. You can make the balls and freeze the balls, so you're just ready to put them on the cookie tray, but I tend to just freeze it, and I can use a knife to dig it out. I've put them in the oven frozen, and they might just take a little longer to cook. All right.
I see some have their cans, their workout.
All right, are you guys ready to stick them in the oven?
I think they are. People are putting them in.
Okay, so I'm gonna stick them in. I'm gonna put it for 10 minutes. All right, we have 10 minutes to work out. All right, who's got what? I got peanut butter and I got tomato basil. All right, so so they don't have to be the same. This one's 2.5 pounds, this is 1.5 pounds. I might switch them part way. My left hand's a little weaker, so I'm gonna make it work a little lighter because it's a little weaker than this one, but I'm gonna switch off back and forth. All right, so if you remember, can you see me?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yep.
My French chef is still watching the bread, so I'm gonna shift this just a little bit. Okay, remember, a lot of your strength comes from the core, so I want you to get your feet solid on the ground. In fact, I'm gonna tell you to squeeze your butt cheeks because that's gonna get you out of this really like slap position. Squeeze your butt cheeks, pull your stomach in, and that's where the power is gonna come from. That's gonna help you move those arms better. So remember, feet on the ground, you really feel it, butt cheek squeeze, pull your stomach in, and we're just gonna start with overhead. Well, we're just gonna start with biceps. Up and down. We're gonna do, I don't know, let's go for 20. Ready? 1, 2. And I got an eye on the clock.
I like Doxy. She's lifting her kid up and down.
I love it. If you want to make it harder, add some squats to it. I can go this way and down. All right. This is where I can stand on one foot. I can do whatever I want to make it to get some lower legs in. I can do side steps, but I am just getting my arms pumping. All right, so if you wanted to do this sitting down, grab a chair. I don't know what I am. And this might be where, hey, I'm gonna watch the clock. I'm gonna do this for a minute. I'm gonna do a minute worth of squats and biceps. All right, next, we're gonna go overhead. One arm up, other arm up. I can't see what everybody's doing. And if you're making it up, that's okay too.
Just keep moving.
Just keep moving. We're talking about 10 minutes, and then you get to eat those cookies. But if you think about it, you've done 10 minutes of your dough. We probably did at least 10, 15 minutes with the cookies, and this is just the frosting on the cake. All right? So now, let's try to get our back into it a little bit. I'm gonna have you lean forward, get a little bit of a squat. Your arms are gonna come back. It's kind of like squeezing my shoulder blades here. These are those great postural muscles. Squeezing them back and down. It's not a big, huge thing. I'm leaning forward a little bit and my elbows aren't really moving. It's my shoulder postural muscles coming back. So 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. You want to get triceps in? Couple of ways to do triceps. You can lean against your kitchen sink. I'm going to drop my peanut butter. And you just get that elbow to come out behind you. You can do them that way. If you've got the shoulder motion, you can get triceps up here. But we've done a lot of triceps with all of that meetings. So let's try to do 10 on each arm. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch hands. 1, you can see me, fake sink here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you want to go overhead, you can do it that way. But let's do some punches. Again, you can walk around. I'm going to bring those peanut butter and tomatoes out in front of me. Let's do 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only go where you feel comfortable. If you want to do it down low, I'm going to drop that. It's too big for my hand. Go down low. If you can get it up, do it up here. But find that zone that feels okay for you. I got to switch things because this is getting slippery in my hand. I got some diced tomatoes. This is 1 pound. All right, I can bring it up. If my shoulders are up here, it's too heavy. Let your shoulders relax, and you're just gonna punch. I lost count. We'll do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, snow angels. Thumbs up. Feet planted, butt squeezed, tummy in. You're just going to bring that shoulders up and over your head, reach overhead and down. If you want to add a squat to it, all the way up. Woohoo! Squat, up, 3,
Look at all those working out.
4. Everybody, elongate that spine. If your arms don't come up, just make your trunk come up as far as it can. 6. And we got 3.5 minutes left. We can do it. Nice work, everybody. Do whatever you can, what feels good. Don't have to push it. If you come up part way, if you just come up a little way, that's okay. If you go all the way up, elongate. All right, I don't know what I got. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3. When you come up, squeeze those legs up and squeeze your butt. 4, 1 more, 5. All right, let's put the weights down. I want to show you some cool stuff you can do with your towel. Aha. Postural stuff. So grab a hand towel, grab a sheet. What you're going to do is you're going to hold that in front of you. Your elbows are a little bit bent. Again, start with a butt squeeze, start with a tight base. So if I squeeze my butt, that helps me elongate, pull my butt, it pulls my butt in so I get out of this slouch position. I squeeze, I tuck my tummy. That's the starting position you want to be in. You don't have to keep your butt squeezed the whole time, but you squeeze it to get that postural position. Now what you're going to do is hold that in front of you, and we're just going to go overhead. And what you're doing is you're pulling that out the whole way you go up. So if your elbow is here, find that place where it's comfortable and you're using your triceps and using a lot of back muscles. You're just pulling out. We're holding for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bring that up. Keep holding that out. Pull out. Perfect. Good work. And down. Keep holding it tight. If you have to relax and take a break, no problem, but you're pulling outward, bringing that arm up. And if you can, you're trying to open up your chest, bring that arm back, your arms back a little bit. If it feels good to be here, that's fine. If it feels like you can go back here, great. The idea is not to super arch your back. It's actually to keep your butt tight, your tummy pulled in, and you're just opening up your shoulders and down. Take a rest if that's tired. You're gonna do it again. You're gonna pull out, then we're gonna bring that up. And keep breathing, don't hold your breath. So a big breath up as you come up. As you go down. Relax that, shake it out. You're gonna pull apart and bring up. I'm gonna back up and see what we got for our cookies. I got 42 seconds. All right, here's another one. It's like you can do those cycles that you see at the gym. Get your arms here and you're just gonna go in a circle like that or backwards. You are gonna feel that. Just keep going. We're gonna do this for the 23 seconds I have left on my oven. So this is where everybody's oven is a little bit different. You're gonna figure out if your cookies need to go a little longer or a little shorter, depending on how hot your oven is. My daughter has told me that I overcook them sometimes. So you actually take them out when they're not looking totally cooked because they're still gonna cook a little bit on the tray. All right, you're done. Now remember, Dave taught us last time, there's all sorts of things we can do with our arms. We can go in diagonals. We can go across our body. We can do 2 at the same time, so you can make them up. All right, I'm gonna check out my hard to say. I'm going to say and mine are looking pretty good. Mine look pretty done. I don't know if you can see those.
Oh, they look
But
yummy.
they're pulled, they're puffed up, and they're going to sink down a little bit as they cool, but they're still going to cook. So it depends on how crisp a cookie you want. You want it crisper and browner, stick it in for longer. This is how
Renna.
much
Renna's looks good.
smells so good. All right, so I'm going to put those off to cool. I'm going to leave them on the tray, actually. I'm not going to take them off because there is a
Kevin.
little cooking that's
Mm.
so. Oh, nice.
Yummy.
Nice. All right. Now, next, your bread, for those of you guys that made the pizza dough, it's not ready yet. But I made this morning and it's ready to punch down. So this actually has been probably rising for 2 hours. Doesn't have to rise that long. It's usually good for like an hour and a half. So now what you're gonna do is I'm gonna wash my hands one more time. This is
Whoops, Nancy, you froze. We kind of lost you there for a second. Is she frozen to you guys as well, or just to me? Oh,
Yeah, she's frozen.
yeah, we lost you for a second, Nancy.
He is frozen.
Let me send her a quick text and let her know. Huh, she's still frozen. Every Tuesday, we gotta have something that challenges us. All right, let me call her and see if that helps. Huh. I don't know if she realizes she's frozen. Oh, we lost her. Oh, we're all still on. Okay. All right, bye. Okay, she's going to try again. She says it's not letting her on. I'm not sure what happened. So is Doxy, did you guys get your cookies out yet? How do yours look? They look yummy. Look at those. Jamie, did yours turn out? Oh, Jamie, yours look good too.
It's delicious too.
Oh, Kevin's look awesome. I'm ready to eat some of those. Uh-oh, we lost our chef. She's not coming back in. Any suggestions, Dave? There's always got to be some sort of glitch.
I want to be the chef.
You want to be the chef?
Yeah.
I know. I can't wait to eat what my family's making upstairs. So, Doxy, you asked about how big the dough was. It was about up to the top edge of the bowl. But she had been raising it for 2 hours.
Yeah, I had seen it. I wanted Selena to see it before she punched it down, but then she froze.
I know.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't think mine will get that big because of the gluten-free flour.
Yeah, that's okay. She said it would just be more like a crisp crust.
Yeah.
Mommy's the chef.
She says that it won't let her connect.
Does she have like an iPad or another device that she could connect with? Because it might be the limit for her account.
I didn't think, I thought if my,
I thought that too, but I just problem solving. You having fun, bub?
all right, I suggested another device. We'll see how that goes.
Hold on, let me shut the salt. before
If
you-
not, then maybe you just punch it down and roll your own. I'll just wing it. We'll see. Oh, she can try FaceTiming me and I can hold it up. All right, maybe she can FaceTime me and I can hold it up to my camera. Okay, Nancy, we can try this. All right. So can you see Nancy?
Can people still see me?
Can you guys see her? Thumbs up. Yep, they say they can.
All right, cool. All right, so if you can see my dough, we've cut it into 4, right? So if I'm gonna make pizza.
Wait, you have to back up because you froze when you showed us the dough.
Oh, okay. So I poked the dough down, right? Squashed it all down, and then I put some flour on the table, and I turned the dough out on my table. Then I took a large knife and I cut it into 4. All right, so I have potentially 4 pizzas, 4 little mini calzones, or a bunch of breadsticks and focaccia. So what I do is I take one of those pieces and I sort of take the edges and squish them into the middle. So what I'm doing is, if you can see it, I'm just kind of making another little pizza thing like this. So I'm going to put that on a tray. So I'm going to put that on a tray. And if it's pizza, it's got to rise a little bit longer before I cook it down and flip it into a pizza. If I'm going to be making breadsticks, I'm just going to take this and cut some up like that and roll them out into breadsticks. So if I want to make breadsticks, I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to roll them out and make breadsticks. If I'm making focaccia, what I'm probably going to do is what I did last night is I'm going to take those edges and pinch them in, and I'm going to let it rise again a little bit more before I stretch it out and make focaccia.
Okay, we have a question, Nancy. The question is, can it be used for donuts? And if so, would you let it rise one more time?
It's not very sweet for donuts. If you're going to make donuts, you want more of a cake batter. You're going to add egg, and you're going to add more butter, and you're going to add sugar to that. So this really won't turn into donuts. You can make pretzels out of this, but you couldn't make a donut.
Okay, good to know.
So I am gonna show you. This won't be perfect. Now what I would do is I would put another lid on this and let this rise a little bit. Like go get my toppings ready while this rises. This doesn't have to rise for long, like maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. So get the rest of your fixings together. Now what I did. Oh, here it is. I made some garlic butter. So I got garlic, melted butter, a little bit of salt. And what I'm going to do with that is I am going to put that on top of my breadsticks. So they're going to get basted with a little butter and garlic. And that is going to taste awesome. If you're making focaccia, same thing. You would baste that with a little bit of oil. You can put down tomatoes, you put a little cheese. Really get creative on what you put on top of it. But I love garlic, so this is just garlic butter. Now, if I wanted to, I could add a little cheese to that, and then it's good to pop in the oven. Generally, I cook the breadstick at 400 for maybe 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Depends again on your oven. You can sprinkle the cheese on a little bit later because if you don't want it really crispy, then you put your cheese on later. But if you like crispy cheese, put that on right away. So I'm going to fake this. This is how you do your, this is actually going to rise up a little bit, and it's going to be perfect for your pizza. So how you make the pizza is you would, I'm rushing this because this isn't perfect. You'd start squishing it out. You can either do it with a rolling pin, or you can get to a point, it won't work now because my dough's a little tight, you can spin it, which is really fun. So you take it and you learn how to flip it in the air to get it to stretch out. And then you'll feel like a real professional. And I will start stretching it out. It's not stretching out so now because it still has to raise like a half hour, but you can get pretty good for a little flour on that. You get pretty good at flipping it. I love that. That's what's fun. And the flipping helps stretch it out a little bit. And then, whatever toppings you want. I always put cornmeal down when I put this on a cookie sheet, and then that way the pizza slides pretty good. Sauce, cheese, all the fixings that you want to do, and generally you want a pretty hot oven. So if you can get your oven up to like 450, you can pop it in there and cook it for like 15 minutes. Again, it all depends on how crispy you like your pizza. All right, I think that's it. I know you guys have gone over, and I really appreciate that, but there was a lot to do and a lot of upper body workouts. So
Yeah.
my best advice is enjoy your time in the kitchen. You're making memories for your families. Food is always a wonderful thing to sit around and tell stories and share. And I have a lot of wonderful memories from my mom making us tons of stuff in the kitchen. And I don't know that I told her that enough, but she fed my soul for who I am today. So same thing.
Aww.
Pretty wonderful.
Thank you, Nancy.
Enjoy.
Oh, Kevin wants to know, can dough rise too much?
I think so. I mean, what ends up happening is if you beat it back down, it's just not going to rise that much in the oven.
Right.
So, Yeah, you
Yeah.
can always keep beating it up. It's just going to be a little tougher if you don't let it. If you let it rise and it sinks back down. You can also freeze the dough at this point.
Mhm.
So if you made too much, stick it in the freezer. You take it out, let it thaw, and then you can use it like. So if you make too much, freeze the dough at this point. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can let it rise too much on the first rise. I think you can let it rise too much on the second one.
Yeah.
It doesn't get as much lift to it if you let it rise too much.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Oh, Kevin, yours is looking good. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It needs to go probably what, like another hour or so before he can do much with it.
Yeah.
Oh, Doxy, yours is looking good too. Yeah, that's good.
Just in time for dinner tonight.
Yeah, it will be just, oh, Doxy, yours is really rising. That's good. Awesome.
Can I just cover it with a towel? Is that okay?
That's how we do it at home, Kevin. We cover it with a towel. Yeah.
You can do that.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? Did we lose you? Oh, the chef, the Swedish or the French chef.
The French chef says bye. They'll be with us again next week.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. Feel free to email me if you have any questions, and I can get them to Nancy. I really appreciate your help today, Nancy. Sorry for all the technical. We're always challenged on Tuesdays. I don't know what the deal is. But I'm looking forward to dinner and dessert. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.